No doubt, A Streetcar Named Desire is a great play, but I have always had something lurking about when watching or reading it, some slight uneasiness. I prefer Cat on a Tin Roof and, of course, Glass Menagerie. Streetcar has always had a few moments when I was taken out of the play a little because I felt the playwright was pushing a little too hard to make things happen within the characters, manipulating the characters to get them where he wanted them, especially Blanche. Williams does it beautifully, poetically. Still, just for a moment, I would see the playwright evolving rather than the character. That did not happen as I was watching the recent production by the Tennessee Williams Festival, St. Louis. Everything the characters did made sense as coming from the character, not from the playwright. I could again say especially Blanche, but that's partly because she has more opportunities to slip up. Sophia Brown got it right every step of the way. I don't remember a better Blanche. Brown gave Blanche that bewildered moth-like quality at the beginning when she arrives at the rundown Elysian fields where her beloved sister Stella lives, but Brown also showed the steel that has enabled Blanche to survive, hanging on by her fingertips, and when her grip slips and the steel crumples, Brown moved Blanche fully into her own world. She no longer hears her sister calling to her as she leaves Elysian fields on the arm of the doctor, her head resting on the shoulder of the kind stranger. Brown even made fresh that line that has been mocked 1,000 times. And Brown was not alone. Lana Dvorak created a rich portrait of Sister Stella, trying to bring back something of the kind of relationship she and Blanche had at Belle Rêve, torn between her love and concern for her sister and her even greater needy love for her husband Stanley. Nick Narcissi's Stanley challenged Blanche in two ways. She was trying desperately to cling to the ways of Belle Rêve, of genteel refinement. Stanley was no help with that. But he did have that animal magnetism that her sister had succumbed to, and Blanche's defenses in that field had long been weakened. Spencer Sickman is not a big man like some Mitches I have seen. He was not a physical threat to Blanche in any way, but he was kind, thoughtful, considerate, not polished, not of Belle Rêve's planter class, but acceptable, and easily handled when he turned on Blanche and she on him. James Wolk surrounded his set with windows of neighboring buildings, eyes always watching you. You have little privacy in Elysian fields. Walls were transparent to the street, but Walt niftily created 2 rooms in the cramped apartment. Much of the set was well-worn wood, with an exterior staircase ascending to the apartment of Eunice and Steve, given vivid life by Amy Louie and Isaiah Di Lorenzo. Jesse Munoz made the 4th hand in the poker game, and Blanche found Jacob Flekier a tempting youth when he came collecting for the newspaper. David Wassilak's doctor was kind and authoritative, contrasting with Maggie Winninger's stern assistant. Winninger doubled as a woman of the neighborhood. Isabel Pastrana was the flower seller. Who but Williams would be bold enough to combine desire, cemeteries, Elysian fields, and flowers for the dead? Sean Savoy's lights enhanced the realism and poetry of the set. Michelle Seiler's costumes were simply, unobtrusively right. I would have liked a little more volume from some of Amanda Ware's sound design and Henry Polka's original music. I liked what I could hear. Ultimate responsibility for a successful production like this Streetcar lies with the director. That was Tim Ocel. Thanks all for a memorable Streetcar.
Memorable indeed. I think people will be speaking of this production for years to come.
I do. I think so too.